We're about 3 minutes after, so I'm going to introduce Rick and Bill. They're from PureInsights. They're a partner of ours on the Genesis App Foundry. They have a great reporting solution called PureInsights available in the marketplace, and they're going to tell you all about it. We do have a door prize today. It's a $100 Amazon gift card. So you know how to win. Just answer questions during the session. Bill is going to answer those questions. We might take some live. So feel free to engage. And with that, I think that's all. I'm going to hand it over to Rick now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Walla. And thanks to the Genesis team that was able to join today. We really appreciate the opportunity to present to all of you. And I can say we just got our first question, and our primary focus right now is with PureCloud specifically. So we will be talking about how PureInsights solves reporting for PureCloud. And if you're not quite as familiar with PureCloud, if you're wondering why a customer or a prospect might need additional reporting options in addition to what's offered with PureCloud, we're going to give you the information that you need. And we also make a standing offer to join into prospect calls, existing customer calls, discovery sessions, hopping onto team calls to further dig into some of the areas that we copy today. So just want to say, or that we cover, I want to say thanks again to Walla and the App Foundry team and to Ted Mitchell for bringing us on today. I'm Rick McGlinchey, one of the co-founders of PureInsights, and on the phone with me as well is Bill Leisure, one of our other co-founders. Bill and I both have extensive experience in the Genesis Value Network. I was one of the first 50 employees of Interactive back in '97 when we had one beta customer. Worked for the company for about 10 years, also launched the professional services team over in Europe for a year and a half, and had been doing consulting since about 2010, still with Interactive and Genesis partners and customers. Bill also has previous experience with both Genesis and also an Interactive reseller. So we got lots of contact center experience, and we'll explain how that's very helpful and appropriate for the topics we're going to be covering today, specifically about reporting. Reporting ends up sort of being one of those taboo topics almost. That's why on this first slide, and there's really nothing fancy here and it's by design, especially when it comes to PureCloud reports and analytics, you need to begin with the end in mind. And that's that quote from Stephen Covey. He wrote that book about the 7 people with effective habits. Actually, it's the 7 habits of highly effective people. But when it comes to contact center, it's analytics especially. What is the end? Well, it's not really the end, but it is the outcome. The outcome is the reports and analytics. And I'll go out on a limb and say what you don't know about PureCloud reports, real-time and historic, can hurt you. And that's mainly because PureCloud doesn't yet have 20 years of development under it yet. And some of the areas where it's a little bit earlier stage are the real-time reporting and the historic reporting. So PureInsights has solutions to help augment the platform through the App Foundry. We are an App Foundry technology partner of Genesis, so we don't sell PureCloud licenses. We sell value-added applications that support the PureCloud platform, and we will definitely dig into those. So make sure when you're talking to your PureCloud prospects or existing customers, the sooner you can talk about their real-time and historic reporting needs, the better you can mitigate those risks. So just a little bit of explanation of our history. So PureCloud in 2016 was the really big go-to-market push. And that's when the reporting and analytics opportunity was identified by PureInsights. So the API went generally available about mid-year 2016. And it was in August of 2016 that PureInsights was founded. We got our first minimum viable product pulled together. And by the end of the year, we had already signed up our first 2 customers. So these visuals that you see on the screen here, and I will be doing a demo specifically of the real-time dashboard. This is our basic offering. On your price sheet, it's referred to as the PureInsights add-on for PureCloud, and it consists of a real-time dashboard and an enhanced call detail report that can also be kicked out as a comma-separated file. Taking a little bit higher view of our expertise, I already talked about contact center, and we have been there and done that. We've implemented them. I ran an area of tech support within Interactive for a few years before I branched off and started doing independent consulting. We have the operational experience. We've worked with lots of customers installing contact center of various flavors over the years. So that positions us to provide the operational insights that are very specific to the contact center. And finally, as we'll show you, our goal is to make it easy. Up until just a week or so ago, I would have said easy is just the click to install and the drag and drop interface that we provide with our dashboard. We also now are one of the first 4 App Foundry partners to introduce premium app support. So this has been a big push for the App Foundry team, and we're really excited to be one of the early adopters and first movers with the premium app support. What that means is you can see right here, I'm within PureCloud in the integration section that's located in admin. And all I have to do to install the PureCloud dashboard is just click this installation link. I go through and I can be using the dashboard. Time to value is easily within an hour, and we'll show you how that's possible. One other area to mention specifically as it relates to PureInsights is we don't require any additional services engagements. There is some consultation and onboarding that we provide as part of the service, but we feel that in a modern SaaS application, it should be fast, easy, and intuitive. And so we don't have to wrap a big complex engagement because we're designed to be put in the hands of the business user so that they can configure it quickly as a business user, somebody that's not technical, and immediately begin to realize value. So no services on our stuff. We do provide some onboarding free of charge as part of the subscription. And when I say what our different subscription options are, remember I was talking about sort of the 3 pillars of what we're about with PureInsights. Those translate into 3 separate a la carte report offerings covering real-time through historic. We'll dive into a demo of our real-time dashboard that I had up in one of the earlier visuals. I'll actually do a demo of it. And we'll also talk to our historic report option with web-based reports and the value-added areas that they provide on top of the current set of PureCloud reports, also including the ability to schedule and deliver those reports via email. And then for those larger and more sophisticated enterprise customers, we have an aptly named enterprise offering. And what that is a cloud data warehouse of your PureCloud data. So for that customer that has their own business intelligence and analytics team and that wants to do reporting for themselves, this is an option for them. And we'll dig into that as well. Just saw a great question up here. It was a question in reference to some of the competition. What I'll say with PureInsights, and as you'll see it with our dashboard, compared to other options, you can activate a subscription with PureInsights, and a non-technical user in a contact center can start using our dashboard in about 15 minutes. So what that means is there's no custom programming, there's no software to install, it's all cloud native, provided in a state-of-the-art SaaS offering. So one other thing that I want to mention is we make a standing offer to both Genesis account teams, whether it's the account executives, the CSMs working with existing accounts. We also do a lot of work and help out the professional services team when they start to uncover additional reporting needs with their customers. All we have to do is get on a call with your customer or prospect and ask them one question. How did your contact center report before PureCloud? And I've got some details behind this one that we won't go into here, but if I have about 10 to 15 minutes with a prospect to get their answer to that, that will essentially help us formulate the smart use case to inform them of what options from PureInsights would best fit their needs for PureCloud. So, having said that, let's just dive in and show you the dashboard. It's fun to talk about. It's a lot more fun if we show it. This is the PureInsights configurable dashboard for PureCloud. And when I say that it's configurable, it is an easy, intuitive drag and drop interface. I'll give you probably one of the best customer anecdotes that happened with us recently. We were at an App Foundry sponsor of the Genesis CX18 event in Nashville here in the States. We had Corinne from the Alberta Motor Association stop by our booth, and it was one of the evening socials, so she had a glass of wine in one hand, and with the mouse in the other, she was able to set up a dashboard in about 15 minutes with no assistance. So this is a non-technical business executive in the contact center. And I said, okay, hey, Corinne, that's great. Now log into PureInsights from your mobile using the browser. As you can see, we're browser-based here. And you can access that same dashboard on the go. And I'll show you what that looks like on one of our later slides. So when we talk about real-time needs and capabilities, and I have a slide where we'll highlight some of the differences between the native PureCloud dashboard and real-time capabilities versus why a customer might want some of the flexibility that we provide. The first one is, you can see here that we have some color-coded alerts set up. So it's very easy to get a visual indicator of what is needed as far as where should I be putting my focus in the contact center right now. So at a glance, I can look at the desktop, I can look at the wallboard, and know immediately that, well, hey, my VIP queue doesn't have any customers waiting right now, but I can see that all calls waiting across all of my queues are currently starting to stack up a little bit. So the whole point of the fact that it's real time and those color-coded alerts is to give you that instantaneous real-time decision support, right? And as I mentioned, since we're browser-based, that means the dashboard is wherever you are. It's on your desktop, it's on the wallboard in the contact center, or it's available via the mobile. Now, the different types of widgets that we provide, that's what we call all these different things that are on the screen here. And there is some slide material that will be shared as follow-up. We have about a half dozen different types of widgets available in the PureInsights dashboard, and I'll walk through a couple of those. And just looking at the screen, you can see that we've got some statistics widgets available here. That's kind of across the middle, mainly on this particular dashboard. We've got the clocks. If you don't have those physical clocks on the walls, if you're supporting multiple time zones, like many of our customers are. And also you can see I've got a chart here. And this is a new widget that we've just introduced in the past week. It is called a Q stat widget. That allows me to, instead of creating these larger widgets and tracking a single stat, I can drop in a few Qs and pick whatever stats that I want to see there and then size the font accordingly. So again, just to hit on the fact of what it means to be configurable, it's an easy to use drag and drop interface. There's no services engagement required for a customer to onboard with PureInsights. We will provide an hour conversation with them via a web collaboration, and I will walk through basically a deeper dive demo of the dashboard, and then they can go on their way and go forth and make dashboards. You'll also notice that we have some chart capability here, and as I mentioned, we have that QStat widget. We can also drop in branding. We have Coca-Cola European partners using us at a handful of sites over in Europe. They are aggressively adopting PureCloud as their state-of-the-art contact center platform. And what I would like to do now is show you a little bit about the configurability of the widgets. So when I mention that our dashboard is configurable and that there's no custom programming involved, that it's accessible, it's an intuitive interface designed to make it easy for the business user. Each of our widgets just has a single configuration screen like you see here. So all I have to do is pick which type of widget I want to set on the screen, and I'll show you what that setup from scratch looks like in a minute. I type in a name. We know that PureCloud refers to everything as a conversation. Lots of contact centers still say calls, even though it's called chats, emails, video, and all of the different media that the contact center supports. But I could just as easily say that these were Wallace's team calls waiting, or etc., right? So I type that in, whatever language the browser supports. I make the terms relevant for my center. And then I can pick the statistic, and the follow-up information will show the widgets and the statistics that we have available. So don't get too caught up trying to catch all these. We have about 12 stats. And then the other option of configurability, this is a key differentiator from the current PureCloud native capability, is the ability to select which queues you would like to see. So I'm using the Genesys PureCloud Now demo environment, and our dashboard shows very well there. There is a subscription enabled, and you can access it just by visiting apps.mypureinsights.com and using your PureCloud Now credentials. So what you can see is when I say that this was all calls waiting, I have literally selected all of the things out of the list there. However, I could just as easily say, you know what, I just want my advisors' conversations waiting, or maybe I also want the help desk, customer support, and my inside sales team. Or I can say, you know what, in fact, let's grab all of them, right? Very easy, intuitive. This is stuff you've seen with other web-based applications. Very quick time to value. The other configuration that you'll notice, and this is it, this is all that it takes to set up a widget in PureInsights, is I can set the color-coded alert. So you can see on this particular all calls waiting that if it's greater than 7, I want to indicate red. I can also have multiple alerts. Maybe I want 0 to 6 to show as green. Pick green out of the color palette there, and I have color-coded alerts. We don't usually recommend, you're probably expecting I would add yellow next. Generally, we suggest to customers when they're first starting that less is more, but you can literally add, I can put another one on here if I want and have that be yellow. So very easy and quick to configure. That is what you see here, this configuration screen. All of our widgets for the dashboard only have this one single configuration screen. So I'm going to pause there for 1 second. And Bill, are there any questions we want to shout out live to the group?
So the one that I saw, Rick, that was kind of related to where you are now in the demo was around resizing widgets. I've been like crazy to answer questions. So if you can show a resizing, if you haven't already.
There's a resize.
There you go.
Yep. So I can size it bigger. I can size it smaller. When we say it's drag and drop, I've got another chart here. It's really easy to switch places with those. You can also see that across the tabs, as a PureInsights user, I can create multiple views into the contact center. So it's, when we say that it's configurable, depending on what you want to see, depending on what interface, maybe you have a different dashboard that you want to be set up for the flat panel on the wallboard that you're displaying in the contact center. You can have it any way you like there. Were there other ones, Bill?
There was a question on pricing for the dashboard.
Sure. Oh yeah. Dashboards on the price sheet. The actual price depends on what your PureCloud subscription and whether you're using named agent versus concurrent. I'll just give the US pricing. This is very important, and it is in the follow-up material. We are a fixed price. It's about $100 per month for unlimited users and unlimited dashboards. I want to let that soak in for a second, and I'm going to repeat it. For about $100 a month, unlimited users and unlimited dashboards, fixed price. So for that customer who needs something quick and easy, that is a little more, I would say, tactical and a little less strategic than some of the other options that are available, our solution for the dashboard is affordable and time to value is less than 1 hour. We'll cover that more in additional detail. Anything else we want to hit while we're on the topic?
I think the last one that I've seen is a couple different questions all around the theme of when there's an alert, then can I call an API and trigger some more advanced actions, or can I send a notification to a supervisor? So, I think that some of those things, we've definitely talked about, and maybe next time, but if you want to talk to that a little bit.
Yeah, so the only alerting that we have today is what you see on the screen with the color coding. And that question comes up on occasion. PureCloud and PureInsights are both an evolving platform. And just because we're talking to the internal Genesis folks, we are also based in AWS. And we get the occasional inquiry about things like shareable templates or pushing a template out to other users. Our answer today is like one of our customers, Becton Dickinson, did. 2 contact center managers sat down and decided what they wanted the dashboard to look like. On one of their users, they took a screenshot, and the other one went and set it up on their machine. It's very quick and fast. Would we like to have that to be able to be pushed out? Yeah, it's on the roadmap, not planned anytime soon. Just know that there are over 50 organizations globally using the dashboard today, getting value out of it, even without some of those alerting or sharing of configuration. Other ones, Bill? Okay, I'll press on. Feel free to interrupt. One thing that I'd like to show you on the chart capabilities is, again, very easy to configure. When we say that it's configurable, you get to pick the label that goes on the chart. I have the option between bar and line charts. This isn't a report. It can't necessarily be printed, or, I suppose you could take a screenshot of it. It's just to give you an idea of recent trends in the contact center. And when I say recent, the charts support from the hour, that'll be hours of the current day, up to the last several days or the last several weeks. So the chart that we have down here below is set up to weeks. Again, when we say that it's configurable, you pick the cues. And that's what puts control in the hands of the user, not needing any custom programming or engineering assistance or even IT really to set one of these up. I'll just show you quickly what the stacked values look like just by clicking an option. Now I'm looking at my data over each day, and I can see the different queue activity that's coming in there, and I can hover to see the detail. Okay, let me move on and show you what the mobile experience looks like. So as you recall, that first set of that you saw on the wallboard, I had some clocks configured after my top left stat. Well, with PureInsights, you get the mobile experience for free, and that's because we're browser accessible. So log in to PureInsights from the browser on your smartphone, and you can also see that same dashboard that you had set up at your desktop. The reason that I have this second tab called mobile is you'll notice that the widgets stack up from left to right the way that they're configured on screen as top to bottom. So on that first tab, I had some clocks set up after that first one. And here you can see I just use statistics widgets because if I'm off site, maybe I'm at lunch, I'm away from my desk, and I want to see the activity in the center, it's probably these stats that are going to be more interesting to me. So I saw a question about licenses. We license for the PureCloud org, and that means that anyone with the supervisor role gets access to create their own dashboard. Doesn't matter how many agents they have. And we also have permissions that are described on the FAQ on our website. Let me go ahead and just hop to that real quick. If you go to mypureinsights.com/FAQ, we do list out the individual permissions that you can set up so that you can even give these to the agents. Circle K is one of our customers over in Europe, and they have lots of agents that have configured their own dashboards. So it's $100 per month, approximately, depending on your regional currency, for unlimited users for unlimited dashboards. That was a great question. Okay, let me flip over now and talk a little bit about outbound. The first widget that we have here to help the outbound contact centers is also applicable for inbound, in that we have a real-time view of today's wrap-up codes that have been used. Now, those of you that are working on PureCloud and are familiar with it know that it is the first platform, at least from the interactive lineage, that uses the same capability for both inbound and outbound dispositions of calls by the agent. And that's really cool, because then you only have to configure them once. Our wrap-up code tool allows you to pick how many wrap-up codes are displayed, and another part of the standard configuration, remember, we're all about making it easy, is just picking which queues that you would like to see. So this list goes to 11, if anybody remembers Spinal Tap, and these are the wrap-up codes that have been selected today. And I can also see a handful, or about 2 dozen, have not selected a wrap-up code. That's why we're showing an all there. Now, the other area that you'll see over on the right, this is a value add differentiator from the PureCloud platform, in that we can display campaign statistics even if the campaign is not currently active. So that could be interesting to some of the dialer customers who tend to have multiple campaigns set up. And that's something that you can't currently do as you're looking at PureCloud today. Let me show you quickly how one of these are set up, and then we'll hop back into the deck and I'll explain a little bit more about the value proposition. So I'm going to delete this, and I will change us out of the dark mode. What you see here is the initial user experience when a PureInsights user first logs into the dashboard. They can log into us via the web, and we have a slide available. We also have the in-app integration that's available directly within PureCloud. The reason that we tend to show PureInsights dashboard in the browser is that you get a little bit more screen real estate. So let me just walk through setting up a couple of statistics quickly. Again, I select which type of widget I want to configure. And what I'll do is I'll show you that all calls waiting that we saw on one of the first dashboards that we showed you. So I scroll down in my list and I pick conversations waiting. And remember that I said it was all. So let's go ahead and select all the queues. And if anybody remembers, we also had a color-coded alert that would show if we got above 7. I'm sorry, we need to be 7, and we'll just top it off at maybe 1,000. So if we're greater than and equal to 7, we want that to be red. And there's your first widget. Okay, I can park that on the screen wherever I want. I can resize it. All calls waiting, when we look at our usage report, the conversations waiting statistic is the #1 widget that is used by our customers. That's why we always tend to show it first. Another one that's usually very important and top of mind are all abandons. So let's look at the current abandons for today. I could look at some interval data if I wanted to. We'll just do a real quick ad. And again, PureCloud now has a dashboard subscription available. You can access it by going to apps.mypureinsights.com and logging in with your PureCloud credentials. Another important note for the sales consultants out there, we have enabled PureInsights on many of the sales consultants orgs. If you go to apps.mypureinsights.com or the appropriate regional link for your PureCloud, those are over here on our FAQ, we would be happy to provide a free subscription if your consultant org doesn't yet have a subscription to the dashboard set up yet. So there you have it. 2 minutes, 2 widgets, easy, resize them, put them wherever you want. This is designed with the business user in mind. It doesn't do everything that you could possibly imagine, which is obviously one of the differentiators between us and our the other options that work with PureCloud. Our whole value proposition is based around ease of use and time to value. So look at other options if you need to connect to other data sources. Look at PureInsights if you need more than what the PureCloud native dashboard capability is, right? Now, one more little gift that's bundled along with our real-time dashboard is this enhanced call detail report. I'm just going to run this quickly to give you an idea of what's possible, and I will point out a couple of data points that add value over the PureCloud interaction details report. So what I like to do when I'm running this report, if you're going to demo us on PureCloud now, the regional queues have real phone call activity on them, so they tend to show well when using this report. I run the report, and then I have 2 options. I can see the detail on screen. I can also export that as a CSV, which will open up nice and cleanly in Excel. If you've worked with any of the other PureCloud reports that are being exported as XLS files, the CSV doesn't require any manipulation. It's ready to open up and use the native Excel, like some calculations, those types of things. In other words, I don't have to clean up the data, unmerge cells, etc. Now, the first thing I'd like to point out is we also show the call journey here. So I can see the entire interact time from the caller side of the conversation. I can see the IVR time, the wait time, and the alerting time when the agent actually picked up. Also, and this is very handy for some basic troubleshooting within the contact center, or maybe a customer complaint and they want to see if the customer's information came back correctly. Any participant attributes, this is custom data that's being tagged onto the call with PureCloud, is going to show up in this report. So as I can see here, this particular customer is popping data into Salesforce, so they're doing a screen pop, and looks like they're doing, this is a CX call. So that's some basic investigation call journey data that's available there. This data doesn't export out of the report, but the participant attribute data, all of the custom data associated with the calls, do show up in both of our historic report offerings, which we're going to cover in a little bit. The other bit of information that I'll point out is that the DNIS shows up on this report. One of our first customers, Group 1 Health Source in Indianapolis, bought us. They like the dashboard, but they are a business process outsourcer. They needed DNIS data, and this very simple report that you see here on the screen adds value by providing that DNIS column, which isn't currently available on the interaction details report. There are ways to get at DNIS data within the views within PureCloud, not necessarily as easy a way to export and report on those. So we have that. A couple other things I'll point out here. Number of queues, that will indicate the concept of transfers. If the call transferred at all, as usually if I scroll down, here's one, looks like it routed to a couple queues. And finally, we can show if a call was ever in voicemail. Not that that ever happens in a contact center or a customer complaint, but theoretically, if it did, we would be able to see that. And we can also see the wrap-up code that the last agent selected. I'm going to transition into deeper reporting from a historic perspective now. But Bill, before I do that, anything else we want to call out to the audience as far as dashboard or the call detail report?
Yeah, so on the dashboard, the one other one that I took a shot at answering, and maybe you can validate or see if there's anything I'm missing. Any prerequisites for the dashboard?
A browser and a PureCloud subscription.
Yeah.
So just generally speaking, we build on Chrome. So if a customer asks, much like with PureCloud, a lot of the development's done on Chrome. Works well with Firefox and many of the other popular dashboards. Works on the browsers on the mobile devices. But our install literally just consists of sending the customer an activation link. So it is easy, easy, easy. Click to activate, build dashboard, get back to your job. Any others, Bill?
There's one that just came in from Crest that was asking about what other web browsers are supported.
So generally it will work on a web browser. We've seen customers using a Raspberry Pi and displaying it on the browser on a flat panel in a contact center that way. We don't do an exhaustive test of all of the browsers. Generally speaking, if it supports HTML5, the dashboard's going to work. And I saw a question about pricing. I will say this one more time. It is about $100 a month fixed price for unlimited dashboards, regardless of the PC license level, regardless of anything else. So just the pricing options, as you look at your price sheets, our price will scale up from US $95 a month, depending on whether you are using named agents or concurrent agents with PureCloud, and also whether you are paying annually prepay or paying month to month. So on the top end in US dollars, the dashboard maxes out at about 135. And on the minimum side, if you're doing an annual prepay with named agents, it's 95. Okay. Let us now recap a couple quick things about the dashboards. Now, I saw a question about customers. We've got a list of those we'll show you here. This recap, and I won't go through it in detail, but you do have access to the slides. Just a quick list of why the customer might need additional dashboard capability with PureCloud. That is what the customer tends to expect. There are lots of PureCloud customers that have been on board for a couple years now that aren't using us. And if they have a fewer number of queues, maybe their volumes aren't as high, maybe the center's volume is more predictable, not quite as dynamic, there's no reason that they can't use what comes with PureCloud. As you look at the list on the right, if you have a large number of queues, we'll let you select which ones are going to be visible for you. You can also set up color-coded alerts. You can also filter on media type on some of the widgets. And the same dashboard that you configure from the desktop can also be displayed on the wallboard or the mobile. Here's a little bit of information on some history and why, as far as the dashboard, the real-time is configured, and a very important consideration for customers. Again, there are no services required. You can see this out on the App Foundry. Some of the other offerings have that sort of required service package. We don't. And as I've shown you, and as you can see from our customer reference with AMA, you can get one of these dashboards set up in about 10 to 15 minutes. It also helps make PureCloud sticky. It is an uplift in customer experience and customer satisfaction. What we say internally when we talk to Genesis and to partners, because we have other historic offerings that are based on per agent per month pricing, the dashboard's kind of our Trojan horse, if you will. It's very common for customers to start using PureCloud and start using our dashboard and potentially come up with additional questions for their data that they're not able to address with their current capabilities. So we'll flip into some of the historic offerings to mention that. Seen a couple questions about roadmap. Near-term dashboard, we just introduced that the QStat widget that I showed on the first dashboard page. We don't have any other near-term plans for the dashboard, and that is because most of our effort right now is focused on getting our second tier of reporting offering together, which is PureInsights Business Intelligence, which I'm going to talk about in just 1 minute. So like I mentioned,
hey Rick, it's Bill. Hey, I did put in one plug for LCW, longest call waiting.
Oh, so Q observation metrics are being revisited. We need a statistic endpoint to provide longest call waiting. There are other options available with PureCloud that provide longest call waiting. They're taking a longer, more process and resource intensive route to do that. We are anxiously awaiting the long anticipated Pure 975 enhancement request. And what the challenge is once Genesis makes that statistics endpoint available for LCW, we will turn around a longest call waiting widget. So very good point. Again, even in spite of not having LCW capability, we have over 4 dozen customers using the dashboards globally, getting value. I saw a question about largest number of active users. We have set up dashboards on, and this was on a trial, not a currently active customer, but we've done a trial with a customer that has over 1,000 queues and I want to say 400 agents. PRA over in the UK is using us, and they have in the hundreds of agents right now. I think concurrently maybe in the 100 range. But most of our customers are anywhere from 20 to 30 agents all the way up into the hundreds. Okay, now let us transition into some historic report solutions. What I'm showing you now on the screen is a view of a conversation. These multiple rows represent the multiple segments of a single conversation in PureCloud. So the barrier that the customer faces today is if they want access to their data to do their own custom reporting, they could build to the API, or they could potentially acquire a third-party solution like PureInsights to get direct access to that data, either in canned reports that are provided with one of our options, or within a cloud data warehouse, which is our enterprise offering. So you can see from this particular conversation, it was connected to multiple agents. And the reason you see multiple rows here is because there's 2 sides to each segment of a conversation. That's why the agent names show up more than once. And we can see that 2 separate wrap-up codes were picked on this conversation. So the point of this visual is PureCloud conversation data are very complex, and we've done all the heavy lifting so that the customer can focus on their outcomes. The deck will most certainly be available and will be shared and posted. I just saw that question pop up. Thank you, Chris. Let me talk about historic offering number 1, PureInsights Business Intelligence. We are currently running this with a couple of customers. We are not yet on the Genesis price sheet. We'll have a part number for this in the 3rd quarter. And the question is, why would a customer need additional reports besides what PureCloud offers? I saw another question about the demo. We are available on the PureCloud Now demo org using your PureCloud credentials, or send me an email if your sales consultant org does not yet have a subscription activated. We give those away for free to partners and also to Genesis. So on the screen here are several examples of a more detailed level of data that a customer might need. As I mentioned, DNIS. We've got a customer who needs DNIS level reporting. We have a couple of them actually because they're business process outsourcers. So we have DNIS summary and detail reports. The ability to filter out what's called across a variety of platforms as quick hangups or short abandons And we can filter those out either from all of the conversation detail or simply ones that hit the queue. Customers that need IVR reports. I understand that's something that's going to be coming soon within PureCloud. We just went live a couple months ago with an application for the Maryland Department of Health here in the States doing IVR reporting for them. Wrap-up codes by agent or wrap-up codes by agent by campaign. We have that detail. We have that detail available on our reports. Mention the dialer here as well. So I won't read all of these, but I will point out skills-based reporting and anything that's custom data, either in the call flow or the scripts. All of that data lands in our database. So you have access to all of that, either as an enterprise customer using the data warehouse or as a PIBI customer that's using our can report capability. So this is a terrible analogy. It's American, and I apologize for it, but it tends to resonate. And the rhetorical question is, who orders a Big Mac without cheese? Okay, maybe, yes, there probably are some reasons that some people would do that. What we encourage you to do with your PureCloud orders is consider including our dashboard as part of the initial order. It's affordable. Time to value is measured in an hour or less, and it will just make things easier for your customer because customers expect cheese. They'll notice if it's not there, and they will tend to complain when it's missing. Remember, I mentioned my one question discovery question up at the top of the conversation. And if we can just get an opportunity to talk to you during the prospect phase, we can tell you which one of our options or multiple options will be best suited for your customer. So PureCloud, state-of-the-art SaaS, we all know that, continuous deployment. They got new features coming out on a weekly basis. Just doesn't have 20 years of development behind it yet. So the report's still a little bit earlier stage. My challenge to you, why not just put us on the order? Okay, I'm going to talk briefly about enterprise. We'll have a couple minutes for questions, and then we will also do our drawing. So the focus of the enterprise offering, this is for the customer that prefers to get direct access to their data, who wants to report for themselves. And they have two options. They can go after the data themselves. There are some tools that are available that are open source. They can certainly build to the API. I was just talking to one of our new customers last week, and I said, hey, this was somebody on their business intelligence team. Can you validate for the team that generally this would be the work if you wanted to go after it yourself? You need a developer, a business analyst, a DBA. You have to maintain the offering. Time to value there can be measured in weeks to months. And they said, yep, that is exactly how it works. Option 2 with PureInsights Enterprise Data Warehouse, we send the customer an activation link. They click on it. We start the synchronization process. They can access that database by the next business day. It's quick, it's fast, it's easy, it's what they want. For those customers that say, I do reporting with Tableau, Microsoft Power BI, Qlik, Cognos, Looker, any of the variety of plethora of BI tools that are available, that's what our enterprise offering is targeted to answer. The only thing that I will mention is that enterprise offering has been out for over 18 months now. And again, we have customers globally running on it. We will discuss an enterprise license for opportunities that are greater than 300 seats. The enterprise offering is known as the hosted SQL database on your PureCloud price sheet, and it is a per agent per month price. What we've noticed is as we get upwards of about 300, the customers in broad strokes tend to say, well, you know, for that much money, I might just build it myself. They may not necessarily be thinking about all of the ongoing maintenance that they're taking on if they do that, but they do have that option. So we are interested in getting those larger enterprise customers on an enterprise license. So if you get the opportunities north of 300 seats, contact us and we will discuss. We also have an ROI calculator to help walk a customer through what their potential 3 to 5 year total cost of ownership would look like. Here's some quick stats about our enterprise offering. Like I said, it's an activation link. It's cloud software. The database lives in the same PureCloud environment as your PureCloud AWS region. So for EMEA customers, PureCloud's in Ireland and now Germany, and we would be in those same regions. So that is generally what the database is all about. Here's a sampling of some of our customers. Those familiar with Big Steel Box, I think in the States, they have a competitor called Portable On-Demand Storage. I just like BSB because it's much more descriptive. Mentioned that custom IVR application with the Maryland Department of Health. Our friends at Mosaic direct quote, PureInsights data is choice. So here's just a real quick, this is just another glance at what are the difference between the three offerings. PureInsights Basic, or on your price sheet, it's referred to the PureInsights add-on for PureCloud. It's a web-based real-time dashboard with a very simple call detail CSV extract. PureInsights Business Intelligence. It is web-based reports. We have charts like you see here. We also have the traditional rows and columns. You can also schedule and deliver those via email, either as a CSV or a PDF. And for that larger enterprise customer or more sophisticated contact center who has the resource, we offer the cloud-based data warehouse, direct database access to that data, and this is also an opportunity for partners or professional services to use our data set to create custom reports. So all of those things are definitely possible. I'm going to skip that one. This is just some indicators to help formulate the smart use case for the customer. Before we kind of go in through this last recap, Bill, any other questions we want to try to hit for the larger audience?
I don't think I've got anything too much more that you haven't already addressed so far.
Okay, awesome.
The rest
so I did
go back through and pick off as we go.
Yeah, and I appreciate some of the requests for analysis of competition. If anyone, particularly a sales consultant, wants to dig in, I'd be happy to walk through. I don't have access to systems from the competition, but I would be happy to walk through what we do so that you can see that as a follow-up. And yes, we will be sharing this deck. Walla will be posting it and the webinar recording on Genie and making it available through a couple other options. So I want to quickly recap. Please, we make a standing offer. We consider it business development. Bring us in early. If you've got an RFP, send me the RFP. I'll be happy to take a look. I was doing one, I got a request from Matthew Brannon just last week. He said, hey, can PureInsights Business Intelligence provide this, and this data? And I sent him an example of a dashboard showing it, actually a report through our PureInsights Business Intelligence, and also an Excel export of that data. So we are ready, willing, and able to help answer the hard questions about PureCloud reports. It doesn't have to be the elephant in the room anymore, and we are happy to help solve those while the customer is still thinking about the things that they need and the budget that they're going to spend. We have helped come in and clean up issues with prospects or customers much further in the process or after go live. It's just a harder conversation. And if you're willing to partner with us, we will be happy to make sure that the customer understands and has a list of options of which reporting solutions will work best for them. And if we see needs where their requirements might be better served because they need to connect to other data sources, we would certainly make mention of that. PureInsights works with PureCloud, and it doesn't connect to other data sources. I think I mentioned it earlier. We offer free dashboard subscriptions. You can get to the PureCloud Now demo org and use us, or if you have a sales consultant org where we haven't yet enabled a dashboard subscription, email our sales distro, and I will send you an activation link. We give those away for free. We want everybody to use the dashboard. Think of Oprah. You get a dashboard. You get a dashboard. Everybody gets a dashboard, right? And finally, please consider, at least for the dashboard capabilities, just put it on the order. Fixed priced at $100 a month. It's almost a rounding error. And essentially, you will remember so that you don't forget the cheese. That is my presentation. I do appreciate the time, and I think, Walla, are we going to do a drawing now?
Yes, so let me just get right into that. We will have the names ready here of all of the wonderful questions that I saw in the chat window. So I will take control of the screen and
all right,
pull that up here. All right, and the lucky winner is Chris Kemeth. So I'm going to connect you, Chris, with the team at PureInsights, and they will be able to help you claim your prize. I saw a lot of questions about where this would be posted and if the recording will be available. Yes, if you go to the Salesforce chatter board, it will be in your Insight source coming up this Friday. And if you haven't seen the Foundry Genie page, we have all the recordings, past and present, for partners and friends, and lots more sales materials. I put a bit.ly link in the chat window, but you can also just find us under sales resources. So I think that's it. Thank you, Bill and Rick, for your presentation, for joining us today. And thanks everyone for joining.
Thanks, Walla, and thanks everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks, Rick.